Hi everyone. Today I'm tagging on to the video that I shared with you last week. And last time you'll remember that I made these cute little chicks. And today I'm going to share with you how I painted them in. So I used a homemade paint recipe and I'm going to share the recipe with you and I'm going to show you how I painted these cute little chicks in. So stick with me and I'll share all of that with you. Two things that you'll need for this project are cornstarch and food coloring. So to start with the project, I'm going to put a tablespoon of cornstarch into a bowl and then add a tablespoon of cold water to the cornstarch and just mix it all together until it is smooth. Your loved one can definitely help you with this part, either with dumping in the cornstarch and the water into the bowl or with the stirring part. This step can be interactive for them. Once that's all mixed up, we're going to move to the stove. You will need a cup of water. I'm pouring in a cup of room temperature water into a saucepan, and I'm going to put the lid on and just let it boil. Now I got this recipe out of a recipe book that my auntie gave to me many years ago, and the recipe in the book was labeled as finger paint. I have not used it as finger paint. Given that I'm using food coloring, I think that my fingers would be dyed different colors, but it is certainly safe and non-toxic to use, so if you want to use it as finger paint, I say go for it. I am going to use it as just a regular paint to use with a paintbrush. Once it's boiled, you can add your cornstarch mixture into the hot water. And then return to low heat and stir constantly until the mixture has thickened. So for me it took about 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes just to get it to thicken up. It ended up being about a thick cream consistency. I went ahead and made 4 different batches of the steps that you just saw, and so I've got 4 different jars here, and I'm going to add food coloring into the jars. So a different color for each jar, and then this is a fun step. Put a lid on the jar and let your loved one shake the food coloring into the mixture. So don't be afraid to get silly with this step. If you're shaking these jars, of course you can turn it into a little dance or make a little rhyme or a song to go with it. It really can be very fun. And then once it's all shaken up together, your paint will look something like this. As you can see, it's kind of translucent, but very brightly colored. Now, if you're curious to know what it looks like when it's painted on paper, I did do an example, and you can see it almost has a pastel-y sort of look to it. The colors are not super intense, but it still gives a nice impression of the colors. Now for the little birds that we made last week, I just painted the paint straight onto the air-dried Play-Doh, and the Play-Doh seemed to just suck it up. I did a few different layers and I even mixed the colors. So I did the bird's blue and then I added some green afterwards. And I think that the overall effect looked quite nice. So there you go, some homemade paint and my painted in little clay chicks. I hope you enjoyed that and that you get your own chance to make some paint. It really is just a fun, different kind of activity to do. Hope you're feeling inspired, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.